welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Volodymyr Solohub. Since the beginning of the war in eastern Ukraine and illegal annexation of Crimea, nearly 1.6 million people left the affected areas. Join me now to discuss the rights of IDPs in Ukraine is Chairman of human rights organization Ukrainian Helsinki Union, Mr. Oleksandr Pavlichenko. Mr. Pavlichenko, welcome to Viewpoint.
Welcome. Hello, and I'm pleasure to be here with you.
Mr. Pavlichenko, we were discussing with various experts the rights of IDPs, both in affected areas and those who were forced to leave the Donbas region. And just several months ago, we were talking to one of the experts who said that a lot of rights of those people are being violated. They don't have access to all the services which the ordinary citizens have. What is your view on the rights of IDPs here in Ukraine?
Well, the first point that Ukraine was not ready to accept such a big amount of IDPs for such a long time, and they are in very difficult situation, and they are in the process of re-establishing their settlement on the new territories. It's not easy task, and we concentrated mainly on the most difficult cases, and the Kharkiv Human Rights Group, I am representing also the Kharkiv Human Rights Protection Group, provide with legal aid and support the IDPs who left their homes on the occupied, we may use this word, on the occupied territory of Ukraine, and now are situated in different places controlled by Ukraine territories. And
so, Mr. Pavlichenko, yeah, from your standpoint, from the standpoint of your organization, what are the main challenges which the IDPs face right now?
The not proper support in financial means. I mean the amount paid by the state for the person who left their houses is not sufficient even for surviving. The lack of proposed working places and the access to administrative services as well, and a lot of bureaucracy on the places where they are located, plus the difficulties with the passing the 2 days
crossing the so-called
border.
Mr. Pavlichenko, but do you see that the government do you see any positive developments in the government's attempts to resolve the situation, to help the IDPs?
Yeah, more or less, the legislation is developed in the positive direction, and
but is the legislation, is the positive legislation being implemented properly?
Second side of this story, and second part of this story, is the implementing mechanism of this legislation, because as I've said before, Ukraine was not ready to face such situation.
So is it being implemented properly?
In very short description and on definition, it should be a revolutionary step, but we are an evolutionary step. And the people, IDPs, belonging to IDPs society, let's say, they should resolve their problems, and the position of the state is rather weak than strong in their support, and insufficient funds, as I've said, a non-proper mechanism, not proper interests from the state side towards this category of Ukrainian population. And it brings to the one negative effect that the people that left the territory non-controlled by Ukraine, they return to this territory in the last 6-8 months. So we have such objectives,
such in your opinion, the fact that people are returning back to their homes, Is this a positive development or not?
It's reality. I may describe just one little example. When we visited last year Avdiivka, that is very close to this dividing line between two armed forces. The young woman with the small child was in this Avdiivka city, explaining us that she left in the very hard time this city, but when she spent all his funds, she was obliged to return because no house, no flat, no possibility to stay with the small child. She was alone.
Mr. Pavlichenko, in your opinion, what are the immediate steps which the government should take to secure the rights of the IDPs?
It should be clear program, and it is reflected in this strategy for human rights for the nearest 5 years, and especially for these 2016, that will provide with the very concrete mechanism.
What is this mechanism?
What is this mechanism? It should be on the local level developed the proper assistance program to all the person who appeared on the territory controlled by Ukraine. And I may bring some positive
I'm sorry,
results.
Mr. Pavlichenko.
Yeah.
It's again, we're talking about the program, but what are the concrete steps? Does the government have to start building houses for the IDPs? Does the government have to start opening, I don't know, soup kitchens for them to feed? What are the concrete steps the government has to do?
It might be very different concrete steps because it's it's up to the person who is who needs such support or doesn't need, because we have very different categories of IDPs as well, and
so what are these steps? What does the government have to do except for adopting programs and implementing plans?
Well, all registered IDPs should provide the local authorities with their needs, and such needs should be considered and resolved. The needs might be very, very different. It might be the medical assistance, it might be the search of the working place, it might be the search of housing, as well as other possible issues. In each case, the state should find the resolution and have the program, because it not might be done in one moment. It should be done in several months, in several years, and the state should consider what she will done or what it will done with such big amount of the person who came from the east regions to other territories. And here I turn back. I may give one positive example. In several cities like Bakhmut, Artyomivsk, they accepted also a lot of IDPs, as well in Mariupol, and they, on the local level, they developed some even local programs, some local mechanism, what to do with such a persons. And they, well, let's say, they have positive and negative examples how to tackle with this problem.
So there are success stories.
Yeah, for sure. And the state should study, learn this.
In your opinion, if possible, very briefly, how much time, realistically, the government needs to do that? The time frame?
2-3 months is no more. I think that this problem should be an emergency institute to resolve this problem, kind of temporary commissioner on IDPs' rights. And this institution.
What about the funds? Does the government have enough sufficient funds to finance this program? So 2-3 months to develop a program?
Well, the funds is not the first problem. The first problem is the wish to resolve the problem. That's A, and the funds will.
Are you saying there is no political will to do this?
I think that it's not strong political will to do it, and the government should repeat on every level and show and prove that it has the clear intention to resolve this issue and to see the person, well, we have in Constitution a rule of law program, rule of law principle reflected, and the person, human rights of the person should be on the first stage. And here we have to see the each individual, each personality when we consider the IDPs. It's not IDPs.
Yeah, it looks like some very dire situation with IDPs still taking place. Mr. Pavlichenko, many thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it. We were discussing which legal challenges face the internally displaced people in Ukraine with the chairman of Human Rights Union, Ukrainian Helsinki Union, Mr. Oleksandr Pavlichenko. I'm Volodymyr Solohub. Thank you for watching Viewpoint.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.